A group of Cosatu members have started marching through Cape Town CBD against high crime levels and the rising cost of living due to high fuel prices, among other things. The march is supported by the SACP. Federation Provincial Secretary Malvern De Bruyn says they are bringing the plight of the workers to all three spheres of government.
Cosatu in the Western Cape have taken to the streets of Cape Town today, saying that they are marching to all three spheres of government against what they call high crime rates in Cape Town in the province, but also against high fuel prices. And speaking to the Provincial Secretary of Cosatu here in the Western Cape, Malvern De Bruyn, telling us that high fuel prices, the high cost of living and also high crime rates are indeed affecting the working class. Malvern, a very warm good day to you. So at the moment, marchers making their way here to the Civic Centre, to the City of Cape Town, also to provincial government and then to Parliament. So it's all three spheres of government today. What is your core message in this march?
Yeah, our core message to the people of the province as well as nationally is that as workers, as a working class, as a community, we are unhappy, we are angry, we are frustrated about the high levels of crime in this province. And it's quite clear that government from national up until the City of Cape Town and province is doing nothing to allay the fears of our people on a daily basis. We have been robbed, we have been mugged, we have been killed on a daily basis, and we don't see real, tangible solutions to solve the problems.
Now, I think it was yesterday or the day before, the Premier of the province, Alan Winde, called the march misguided, saying that the action is misguided, saying that as a province they are assisting in terms of resources for law enforcement, etc., the LEE program and so on, in terms of making these resources available to communities, and also then talking about the economic state at the moment and what a strike, for example, a march like this could mean to the pockets of your members that have participated today. You have a response to that?
Yeah, we are not surprised by the response or the report of the Premier. It's disingenuous from them to come now and talk about those issues. Because it's quite clear they were part of the discussion on the NETLEG, and they were one of the departments of the province, his department, that didn't come to the party when we raised the issue of crime in the province. They were the ones that didn't take the process seriously. They forced us to be here today. We can talk until we turn blue, but if the party on the other side is not really doing something to assist the people of this province, what can we do? That's the only tool that we have.
So Malvern, just very quickly, I know that the march is going ahead and I'm not going to hold you up any longer, but just in terms of the memorandum that you are handing over, just some of the key demands and which demands for example, the city, the province and national, are there separate demands and then what are they? If you could just touch on the highlights of that memorandum.
Yeah, the memorandum is basically for all three spheres of government. It talks to the same issues because all three of them were party to discussions at NETLEG. So those are the demands that we've discussed at NETLEG and we bring it back to them. The city can play a bigger role with its law enforcement officers, with city police. They must play the role of being in the communities where we need them the most. Not only at robots where there's a red faulty traffic light, and then you find them. Then you find them sitting in their cars the whole morning. You don't see them in the areas where the crime is there. So the city must play that role. And the province must stop making politics out of this exercise. They must stop making politics out of the lives of people, because when we discuss this matter, they were supposed to be there and not be there when it suits them, but all the time. So the province they failed us because all they want is for the SAPS to fail in order for them to claim that they can take over the South African police services. And at this stage, we don't agree with that one.
Where does national government, where does the police ministry, where does SAPS fit in? SAPS fit
in all the issues because we are saying we want a proper system in place where gangsterism has been dealt with. There's a POCA Act. The POCA Act is not playing. The POCA Act is there, but they don't enforce it. We've got the intelligence services that don't play the role that it should play. So government must reinforce those forces and tell them that they must be on the ground within our community. So national government is also failing us big time when it comes to crime in this province.
Malvern, thank you so much for speaking to me. Of course, Cosatu's Provincial Secretary there, Malvern De Bruyn, just explaining to us why they've decided as a trade union federation with the affiliates, also supported by the SACP, to come out today in this protest march, saying that they are taking their concerns facing the working class, the rising cost of living, high fuel prices, but also in this instance, the high crime rates. They're taking it to the doors of all three spheres of government this morning to highlight what they call a failure of the working class and people in poor communities.